Hello everyone and welcome to the Ferret Business Podcast. I am your host, Yemmy the Ferret, aka Yemmy, and with me today is a retro game player, podcast host on his own channel, and an Australian. His name is Retro Gaming Randomness. All his links will be down in the description, including YouTube and Twitter, so go check him out if you want to. Retro, welcome to the podcast.
Alright, thanks for having me.
How are you doing this? I guess it would be morning for you.
Currently 6:05 and it's cold.
It's cold in Australia? Get out of here.
Yeah, we have cold here too.
So is it weird? Is it weird being pretty much on the other side of the globe, and it's like 4 o'clock here and it's 6 a.m. there? Is it weird talking to other people?
Yeah, I never get used to time zones. It's so annoying.
Definitely, and especially when you're trying to schedule things, it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, especially like trying to do collabs and everything like that. Or 3 a.m. or my 2 a.m.
So do you do a lot of collaborations with other YouTubers?
Try to. I've people back out of some Pokemon collabs that I was really excited about. There's reasons. No one went too deep into detail, so I'm not sure exactly why, but you know, it happens. I've got a lot of collabs planned with some of my good Twitter friends and everything.
Well, that's awesome.
I'm always down for a good collab, depending on the game.
So, you play a lot of the retro games on your channel, including like Donkey Kong and other ones of the same generation. Which retro games have been your favorite to play on the channel?
Since the update of my channel, or since like the first time I ever started the channel?
No, since the first time you started the channel.
It's a tough one. I've had to have been between Zelda, Ocarina of Time.
Are there any games that you haven't gotten to yet that you want to play?
A whole list of games that I'll be playing now because before I was only using my laptop, which has a really crappy GPU.
Right.
But PC from scratch with a mate.
Oh, nice.
Back. And I have, like I was saying, I have a better microphone. I have 2 monitors. Pics are somewhere on my Twitter, so if you want to go hunting for that, feel free.
Yeah, dude, I'll definitely go check it out. So how do you record the gameplay from your computer? Is it an emulator or what?
Yeah, well, I have a proper Steam account now as well, where I buy games or stuff like that. Other than that, it's just emulators, and then that's about it.
Is it tougher to play the emulated games versus the original games?
It's the exact same thing, except like you might have to expect a few extra glitches and stuff like that. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, I was watching your Donkey Kong 64 episodes, and there was a few things going on during it. Like Donkey Kong was just like stretching really randomly. It was kind of funny.
The black and white one, or the one from way back?
Yeah, 64, Donkey Kong 64.
Recorded that when I was I didn't record with OBS. That had no editing to it. My wife edits all my videos and stuff. But yeah, no, I understand that. I mean, I had to take it off, but I actually did a GoldenEye series.
Oh, really?
It was that absolute bad that it was absolute shit. And when I say that, because I don't know if you've played it, but I'm gonna assume you have. It's like one of the most well played games. you know how in some levels, like on the train and stuff, you're meant to look, the camera kind of goes with you.
Yeah.
Well, that happens, and my wife, who's I don't think's played the game, is like, oh, isn't that man? She sees the webcam, and it moves with the picture. It looks like it was the like looks real, optical rift or something.
Oh, okay.
Like that, but without the actual machine. So probably be doing a remake of GoldenEye at some point. A track, because now that I can play, I was very limited on my laptop. Like I couldn't play PS2 games. I couldn't play. I could only play. I was stuck with Game Boy Advance, and 64. But on my PC, I can stream different things. Like I played on the GameCube through Harry Potter, which is a new thing I'm gonna be doing.
Nice.
For streaming, yeah, I'm gonna be doing run-throughs. I spent 16 hours playing that game.
Damn. That's probably longer than I played it when I was a kid, that's for sure.
Meant was he's in that stream because I had so many glitches and everything, and it was brutal. But I made it. I pushed through. You were there towards the end, I think, for a little bit in that stream.
I think so. I can't remember though.
Joy did a raid for that.
Oh yeah, I think I remember now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you stream a lot on your channel, or is it just like an every once in a while thing?
I've only streamed once at the moment because my finals are coming up. I just want to get ready for that. But I pinned the update on my Twitter, so it's pretty much, it won't say what games I'm gonna be playing, but it pretty much says like Monday will be this emulator, Tuesday will be this streaming, and stuff like that. So to see what structure my channel is gonna be in for the next month or so, just go check that out.
Yeah, definitely will. And that link is down in the description if you want to check out his Twitter and then check out his upload schedule, of course. So, have you lived in Australia your entire life then?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I've been outside the country, but I haven't lived there outside permanently.
So, what's your favorite part about living in Australia?
Around in kangaroos. I couldn't help it. I don't know. I haven't actually been around everywhere in Australia, but it's just general, you know. Honestly, I prefer living in Korea more than I do Australia.
Oh, really?
I feel a lot more comfortable and at home there than I do here.
So, then you know how to speak Korean, then, don't you?
I understand a little bit. My wife is Korean.
Oh,
so
okay.
that helps.
Yeah, it helps to have a translator with you.
You know, the Korean I can speak is what she usually calls me. So it's not usually polite.
Oh, okay.
The first thing my friends taught me when I first made Korean friends was Shibal Seki, which is not very nice. It's pretty much saying like fuck you and
Oh, okay.
that. Like Shibal is or fuck.
Oh, really?
And how you can use it can mean like dog or you know, so they're pretty much saying like fuck you dog.
Oh.
Used. Yeah.
So with everything kind of going on with the United States and both the Koreas, really, that they're the two entities, is there any like when you travel there, is there any like restrictions you need to follow when you go to Korea?
Propaganda. to me with that kind of stuff, like, oh, you have a lot of Korean friends or your wife's Korean, said as if. I just say this one thing: if the South Koreans aren't sweating, because they're the ones that are right up in the grid of it, and my look on that, like, if they're not worried, if they're not sweating, then the country has no reason to sweat for them.
Mm-hmm.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no restriction unless you go near the border and then have like tours and stuff on. So yeah, it's all mainstream media bullshit.
Ah, the old media putting a spin on it. Then.
Really, I mean, like a couple years ago there was a scare about like a possible opening, and that's because North Korea bombed one area of South Korea.
Mm-hmm.
But the media made it look like they were already planning a war, where they weren't planning shit. It is because you had some skeptical South Koreans who got worried, but the majority of the citizens didn't give a shit. So they're like, well, they fucking bombed us, we're ready to go if they want to go. That's it. And it ended there. They had a chat between leaders, and it dissolved easily. So yeah, I don't trust mainstream media.
Yeah, I don't trust it too much either, but it's the only way that I can kind of hear what's going on in the other parts of the world. And with
really, if you're interested, there's guys out there like Philip DeFranco. He keeps shit pretty like.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Fence. He's one of the only guys I watch, and then Ben Shapiro. He's also really good because he doesn't take sides.
Yeah, it's good to have a neutral, like, newscast, I guess you would say.
He's an actual lawyer. He's
Oh, really?
He's actually like talked in front of Congress and all that.
That's pretty cool.
If you want to get news that's not biased or full of shit, then check out those guys. And then there's a few others like, and can sometimes majority of the time he keeps things pretty on level. Sometimes he goes overboard, but most of the time he's straight.
I'll definitely check it out.
That's where I get my stuff, because it's just total shit.
So, going back to living in Australia, I was talking to another Australian not too long ago, and he was talking about how he had a pretty close call with a snake in the Australian wild. Is there anything, have you had any close calls yourself out in Australia?
As a kid, I grew up playing with spiders a lot, so I've been bitten by almost every spider you can imagine.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, ranging from redbacks to huntsman, tarantula, daddy longleg, garden orb. But apparently I had it coming. When you poke them with a stick, it kind of.
Where'd that fascination about spiders come from when you were a kid?
I have no idea. I'm a weird one. Like, I was a weird kid. Like, if I saw a spider in a web, I'll throw tiny pieces of paper at it and make it spin in a circle. And I actually managed to get a daddy longleg to tie itself up.
Wow.
Yeah, because it spans so fast that its web tied all its legs together. And then, so that happened. I don't know, when I was young, my mom bought me a book about spiders and a magnifying glass and stuff. Took me to, to like a spider museum kind of thing that was happening.
Well, that's kind of cool.
It was fun.
So I know that the UK is a very, very far away from Australia, and I know that Australia was, found was settled by the British originally. Do you even care about what the king and queen and the prince and princess are up to in the UK, or do Australians just say, fuck that?
Well, the Queen refuses to visit Australia again, from my understanding.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Because I can't remember when, it was a few years back, but last time she was here, someone flipped her off, another dude mooned her. Go ahead and say, like, we don't give a shit. A perfect example is a lot of my British friends, like, tweeting out about, like, the wedding and shit, and I'm just here watching Family Guy and South Park. So, a lot of Australians don't care. I'm part British myself, so...
The only reason I bring it up is because here in America, I don't know why, don't ask me, but there are so many people here who are obsessed with what, Prince Henry or whatever his name and the princess is doing and their marriage and all that, and I'm like, why do we care? I mean, we freaking fought, 3 wars against the British to get our independence, so what do we care what the king and queen are doing right now? I don't understand.
Well, that's because if Americans aren't rioting or bullshitting in other things, they got no life. I don't say that about every American, but that's the kind of general conception.
Well, with all this freedom all around, sometimes you just get a little bored, Well, speaking of things that have happened in Australia, I just have a real quick game to play here as our time is winding down, and it is a game of True or False, Australian Facts Edition. And I just have a few statements here, and I want to test your knowledge of your own continent. So if you're ready to go, I'll start with I have 5, so I'll start with number 1.
Yeah, sorry. Just repeat the first one, please.
All right. So the first true or false question I have here is DC, the DC Comics has a villain from Australia named Captain Boomerang. True or false?
Not that much of a comic book fan.
Well, that is true. There is a guy named Captain Boomerang in the fleet of comic books that DC puts out.
Not surprise me, there is a thing called Banana Man. I'm kidding. I'll link it to you after this. It's hilarious.
Hey, please do. I'd love to see it. The next one I have here is Australia has 10 times more koalas than camels.
I don't think unless you go into the far part of the deserts or a zoo. Has to be true, right?
That is actually false. You actually have 10 times more camels than koalas. And then you guys actually export camels to Saudi Arabia.
Well, that's weird, because I can't go into the jungle and just see it random. Koalas get killed, constantly by getting hit by cars.
Yeah. I guess that would kind of explain why there's less koalas than camels, then.
Sure. And the fact that we eat our own animals, so...
Number 3. Australia's highway is 9,000 miles long.
Goes across state, or...
Highway 1. I'm sorry, Highway 1.
I assume so. I've never measured it personally.
Well, that is true. It is 14,500 kilometers. I thought I would try and throw you off with miles there, just to see.
It's also, that strip, if I'm correct, is also known as, the death part of Australia, because a lot of people just break down there and then can't get their shit together.
Oh, yeah, man, that's gotta be pretty scary. Right. So, the next one, number 4 here. Australia has the most valuable legal tender bill worth $45 million US. Is true or false?
What kind of bill, sorry?
It's worth $45 million in US dollars.
What is?
The bill, the legal tender.
What's legal tender mean?
So, cash,
Say that's false at the moment?
It is false. You guys actually have a coin that's made of gold that is worth 45 million US dollars, not a bill that is worth 45 million US dollars.
The $1 or $2. We have two of them.
You actually have like a giant coin, which is the biggest legal coin made, and it's made out of pure gold, pretty much. It was pretty cool to see an article about that.
Know that I've only seen the cheaper $1 and $2 coins.
All right, last true or false question here. The city of Melbourne used to be called Batmanania.
I'm gonna say that's true, just because Australians love to troll.
And that would be true. Very good.
It's a troll.
All right, man. Well, that's all the time I have today with Retro Gaming Randomness. All his social media links will be down below, including Twitter and YouTube and all that. Is there anything else you want to add in before we take off?
Not really. I'll be doing an interview with Yemmy later on after I get some sleep. So, yeah, make sure to check that out when it's up in like 3, 4, maybe 5 weeks from now.
Sounds good, man.
Structure, so.
All right, well, I am your host, as always, Yemmy the Ferret, and this has been another episode of the Ferret Business Podcast.